I don't know. I just found that track. I wish I could start out every stream like that, but I'm sure it's gonna get like flagged or whatever. Anyway, so um, I wanted to do an update because I just um, added something. I put it out yesterday in the XR artist group, but if you're not in that, you can get it on my Patreon if you want. But I'm doing a doc that basically covers different retopo and um, UV unwrapping methods, like things that you'd have to do to get your assets like game ready. Because that's often like a very frustrating part of creating XR art is having to um, go in there and do all that extra work after you've kind of made the art itself. So let me switch over so I can show that. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So yeah, so hopefully that's useful to some people. Um, some of this stuff, like I haven't tried myself, but others I have, and um, I think there's not enough tutorials or um, like workflow videos of people getting their assets, let's say from an Oculus Medium into like what's the next tool? What do you use? Right, that's the question. I think that um, could make things a lot easier for folks. So hopefully that's helpful. The other thing I wanted to highlight was the Magic Leap situation. Um, I'm really glad to see a lot of people coming out for folks that used to work at Magic Leap. Um, it just makes me feel hopeful for um, the industry as someone trying to kind of like come into it. Um, it makes me feel hopeful because I'm seeing a lot of support for fellow peers in the industry. Um, so yeah, um, it's sad. It's really sad because um, there's a lot of a lot at stake and lots of people working on in different companies that are trying to really change, like really like push forward a lot of this change that these tools allow us to bring creation tools or ways to connect with people um, through augmented and virtual reality. I think I don't know. I really admire people who dedicate themselves to this because it does open so many doors for folks to connect. Um, but at the same time, that path that you pave to getting to that point, I think there's going to be a lot of companies that evolve or kind of have a lot of trouble, but then because of the strides that they made and the effort they put into kind of pushing those boundaries, anyone that worked at those companies will uh, make great things on their own as well, right? They're totally it's almost like planting seeds, I think, right? Like um, anyway, the whole point of this stream was supposed to be about um, cluster. So uh, I checked out an event last night, and I really liked this platform. Haven't used it before, but I really like the way that they set up their social like VR experience. It's to me, it's kind of like a cross between um, a Mozilla Hubs in terms of ease of use, and maybe like an alt space in terms of um, how the events are set up. And there's like a calendar of events and um, some of the other features that kind of tie into your account, let's say. Um, so I wanted to hop in and check out this exhibition to see if I can get into it. Now, the cool thing about this is you do have you do have your events that are time specific. So like the one last night that I got to check out, um, that was the Hollow Rangers, Hollow Magicians, like Tokyo Hollow Lens meetup. Um, there was a lot of people at this, and I think it really does it makes sense to kind of have the options to have like a custom avatar, but to offer people like a basic avatar in this format where everyone's the same. They do have like a photo to help identify who the person is. Um, I think that allows you definitely to have a lot more people in an environment before it starts struggling. Um, but anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to check out an exhibit uh, that was available because what was that? Sound. Um, because I don't know, it's just cool to see exhibits in different social worlds. So um, you've got your like let's say your VR chat, and you can check out an exhibit there, and they've got all kinds of shaders and stuff going on. Um, but each platform has their own limitations, but then that kind of gives people a chance to try to create within that. And like I don't know what this thing is, but it looks so different from this stuff over here. Um, it's really up to the creators to kind of uh, give each platform its personality, if you think of it that way, like as a whole, right? So, but in this case, I think this one might be really fun to check out. So once you install everything, they also do have a SDK here for Unity and like a section for creators somewhere. I think it's here. Yeah, so here's the download. Um, there's a whole section where you've got your Unity tutorials and everything like that. I'm very curious to see if the workflow how different it is than like a VR chat um, creation workflow, or even like high fidelity, the way that engine works. But or Spoke, right? Um, let's try it out. Let's see what this event's all about. So it opens up in this almost looks like a browser window, but you can have your own avatar. So it does give you like this kind of basic avatar, and this file I believe is available in the creator kit. Um, but you could also use like a VRM model. Uh, now I think you might have to have specifically like a really optimized VRM model, but you can use that format if you want. Okay. So as far as like the onboarding, it's pretty simple. You've got, and luckily it's all been translated, which is kind of cool. Most of the basic user interaction stuff. Um, but so you've got this kind of like onboarding area, which you would have in any social world. But the thing is that you know there's calibration here, but once you've done that, it's very clear where you want the user to go, right? So, oh well, I guess because I went through it already, it dropped me off at my last location. But there is like a central hub where you've got instructions. Um, I'll look for that later, but it's always interesting to see how each social world um, does that. So whether it's like one giant hub for an instructional area for new players, or if it's like your own local experience and you have to go through and um, go through like the guided welcome tour. Anyway, but yeah, we're here, and it it looks there's some areas where compared to a different social world, you might have some kind of like particles that are like 3D for this. I don't know if like what the limitations of the platform are, but this looks really nice. Now, there's no audio, but that's fine. Okay. I guess I should go over some of this stuff. Um, so, you've got like a taskbar down here. There's a chat, and these are floating windows, which is nice. And you've got your emotes. I want to see if there's audio playing. Let's see. No. Okay. Well, that's a shame, but there are sounds for each of these. And something that I found really interesting with the event I went to last night is because these emotes have sounds, it's I think that much more interactive in a way. It can get kind of crazy when you have a lot of people using the emotes at once and you hear these like kind of little whistles and things like that or the clapping. Um, I think it was a nice touch personally because it gives the emote just like a little bit extra. The silent emotes in alt space or other places, hubs even. Uh, I like them, but something about like the whistle and stuff. Now I know if this was, obviously in VR chat people spam sounds and things like that all the time just to troll, um, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. It's an option here. It's probably, I imagine, would be an option to disable this if you were like creating a space. Um, but I don't know for certain. You've got a camera here. It's a very basic camera, but it kind of does what you need it to. It to zoom in and out. You've got a way to reverse it, so you can do like a selfie mode. Kind of change the angle, and then you've got the timer, which is really useful. Now, the only thing that I wish it did was like a GIF or some type of like MP4 or something. But these are being saved to your account on the website, um, so yeah. I mean, I can understand if they don't want to like host a bunch of people's videos that way. But you've got your inventory where you can actually upload different file types, and I have to mess around with this, uh, but yeah, what I wonder is it says project to screen. So like, is it that screen? Like how does that work? But that's kind of a fun way to interact with your own content, which most social worlds don't have unless you're like Neos or something specifically where you can easily get files into it in addition to like getting a snapshot out of it. And then here you have your options. So I usually turn this one off, photos. And as far as like a layout goes, for a museum exhibition type experience. I really like it. I like that it has kind of like an indoor outdoor um, space for like speakers or something like that, and then you kind of have like the different halls that you can pour through here. Let's go this way. Okay, so I get okay, good. Um, so the last couple places I went to in VR chat were set up like in an exhibition or like a museum, and in this case, it's the same thing. The presentation is looks like it's mostly 2D work, and in this case, there's like a big placard out in front of each of them, which I kind of like. I kind of like that it's easy to read, right? I don't have to hold anything or come up super close to anything. I can just look at the artwork, and it makes sense for a virtual space. If this was like real life and you had something like this, it might not make sense, but it's pleasant to be able to look down and read naturally and then look up at the artwork. Um, and they did have QR codes here. What I don't understand is how that someone's gonna utilize that. There's like a an app here which I'm not sure what that is. I have to look into it. But maybe maybe you would take a picture of it and then like do the QR scanning like from your browser or something. I don't know if that would work with some of these, but if anyone's watching who does use Cluster and knows how that works, please let me know. Uh, this one, I like the logo there. That's looks like a Mr. Potato Head, but like a Lego character or something. It looks like somebody took a fire alarm and a measuring cup, and then three more cups, or like a Roomba or something. Huh. Okay. This one. I like how the photographs are framed. Don't forgive a cat. Ooh, that really works well as a signature and as a caricature. That's nice. Don't forgive a cat. This one's cool. This is oil painting or a digital painting? What do you think? Yeah, is this like. I'm gonna stand back so you can see it. Do you think this was made like in Procreate or made in like an oil painting, but then like down res? Could be either or. I mean, these lines here are pretty clean on some of these things, but you never know. How about I'm gonna go around the room and then I'm gonna hit these things in the middle here. Okay, so this one Wow. This person looks like they do a lot of environmental, or like they do environment design. Their logo is looks like some sort of chasm made out of blocks, but like floating in the air. That's kind of cool. This person really likes naval ships. Huh. Okay, so got a studio. I really like their use of brushes here. Yeah, and their use of like light stuff. Like this is really pretty. And these reds here that are like coming off of the, like creating highlights on the building. Nice. Okay, so in this one, hmm, I like these flat colors that they chose. And then like their sense of moving moving your eye around the canvas, so like starting here and going down, or kind of like starting at that pinwheel and then moving out where that the flowers are. I like it. This looks like, oh, are these, do you think these are hand sculpted, or hand sculpted and then photographed in a studio? That's what this looks like to me. Or it could just be a really good render. Huh. Beetle Samurai. I love the concept. I would read that or play that game or whatever this is. If you've ever played what's the name of that game? Bloody Roar. There's a character that has this kind of same I guess like silhouette. The beetle head and the armor. Made with Blender ZBrush. Okay, so digital. Still really cool though. This is, I wonder if that's the beetle. Who's this? Another beetle? This looks like a samurai. This guy looks like a ninja. Alright, so here's another one. That really beautiful lighting. Red, yellow, blue. And then the different hues. Wow. Wow, so far I'm loving all of this stuff. And like as far as curation, I think there's something for everyone in this. Um wow. That's cool. Whoops. That's weird. My body was lagging for a minute. Oh, by the way, you can jump in this. So you can't have a social role without jumping. All right. So this looks like a graphic designer. Very playful. I like it. That's how I feel most days when I wake up in the spring. That's exactly. It's like super bad allergies. This person's illustrations, this is kind of like, this reminds me of COVID for some reason. Just the color scheme, the kind of like uh, socks, washing your hands, waking up feeling, yeah. Anyway, okay, so this person, wow, this person makes food. That's nice. But then they also draw animals? Or maybe these are the concept images for food creations. Either way, it's pretty cool. Sweet animals. This one is I don't know what's going on here. I hope it's not what I think it is, but that is unfortunate. This one, another illustrator. Yep. Huh. Wow, okay. Here's like a 3D package designer. Work with a Weedle. I think that's what that is. Pokemon. Here is someone who does photography. New York. All right, I'm going around this way first. Oh wow, here's one that's the first one I've seen animated. So I wonder if that's because I wonder what the reasoning is. It are there going to be more animated ones or um, I'm very curious. You know, I kind of like it though. I mean, as far as a presentation, it's just clean. It's like these gallery. I don't know the style of frame this would be where it's coming off the wall like that, but the presentation is just it's nice to look at while being very basic. The lighting, like the way it's bouncing off here, or you know, it's baked in, but like um, I like it. The artwork, like it really stands out um, because there's no other distractions. You know, it's well done. Um, all right, so we've got some ocean photography, light photography. That's nice. I like that. This one, see again, this is another one where I can't tell if it was drawn um, using digital tools like Procreate or some other, you know, Photoshop or something, or if it was. This could be like oil pastel for all I know. So far, there's been a little of everything, right? Ooh, this one has a person has like a really uh, mysterious avatar. I like it. Whoa. Whoops. Yeah, this is there's a symbol that I see. Can you see it? I mean, I think it's pretty clear, but I like the color choice. The red is, or that reddish color and the green. It's really nice. It's hard to see these two colors without thinking about, Christmas or something. But I think in this case, um, it really, I don't know. I like it. This one, huh. I'm curious about the process for how this was created. And then from there, I could infer like what the artist's statement is. I think a little bit more. For me right now, because it's if I were to see this in like a real museum, I could at least inspect the materials and then kind of get a sense. But because it's fully digital, and it's abstract to the point where I don't know what I'm looking at. Um, it's hard for me to connect with, but I'm curious about it. I can see some areas that it's where they don't match up, and I don't know. I just want to know what the subject matter is about. Okay. Keep going this way. I really love the outlines. They're kind of very sketched out lines. Makes everything feel really soft. Whoa, what is that? Crab? Yeah. Huh. I'm so confused. Looks like buildings, and I see windows there. So this is a building. There's light flowing through somehow, only just through this, and then there's like a giant crab on it or something. I'm so curious. I have to come back to this and find out what it's about. Whoa. I like these Instagram handles. This look to me looks like the Procreate. I think is it like the liquify brush or something? But who knows? There's so much going on. I love it. I used to do a lot of Photoshop work where it was kind of just layers and layers and layers of stuff. Um, this person, whoa, I like it like really well designed infographics. And if to me this is the first thing I think of when I see this, but it might not have anything to do with data at all. I mean, this could just be like a series, but then maybe it does because there's the ones at the top seem to indicate that there's like a comparison or there's something going on here. So um, yeah, I want to know more about this too. I'm going to come back to that one. So we have to go this way. Ooh, anonymous avatar. Not gonna lie. There's part of me that like wants to have a library full of really nice books, like resources, but like in physical form. I do a lot of collection of information, bookmarks, resources in a digital sense, but still like flipping through magazines and books. It's just hard to find space, and yeah. Anyway, hold on. Let me take a break here so I can see what time it is. 4 o'clock. Okay. I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster. I'm getting hungry. We've got this, which, whoa, cool what they're doing with these shapes. Like they're like woven together, but oh my gosh, that's cool. There's so much good artwork in here. It's crazy. I wish you all a beautiful sunrise to come. This reminds me of like Powerpuff Girls or something like that. The colors, the boldness of the lines. But this is stunning. I wonder if that's a photo. I mean, it looks like it's painted digitally, but it must be. Yeah, this one's really nice. What is that? It almost looks like an edible piece of art, like a cookie design or something. I'm sure that's not what it is, but Saint Gabriel. Huh. Okay. This one really stands out because they've painted the frame or photoshopped it or something. I guess it's photoshopped. But even the way that the shading's done on the frame, there's no like this is just flat, right? There's no like PBR texture or anything. There's no material except for just like the whatever JPEG or PNG that is. But to me, it still kind of pops out. It's all these layers in the wood that this frame has. It still gives like a really good illusion of depth. I'm curious if for this, I mean, it looks like they gave most people free reign to display whatever they want to display, whether it's like a single frame of something or something that looks a little bit more um, like traditional. I don't know. There's just like there's no rules except it's all good. That's I guess that was this type of exhibit. Those limitations, I think, still it's up to the curator to put together a good show, and I think they did it here. Love those colors, by the way. This I feel like if whoever does this is did the artwork for a new Jet Set Radio Future or something. I think this is who I would want to do it. This is cool. This looks like a real painting. Whoa. Oh, cool. So this is like a logo designer, mark maker. Yeah, see, even these shadows here, obviously that's not like floating, but when everything is displayed 2D, like, I don't know, it still looks, the illusion is still there. Cool. I would see this person's work if they had a full exhibition. Oh, back here. This person looks like they'd probably make a really good um, marketing, like print ads. But then again, I mean, this is if this is their style, I'm all for it. It doesn't have to necessarily be confined to marketing. Uh, Curious character design, whatever this brown creature is. They all have like long legs in this too. That's kind of funny. I like that. The proportions are different. The arms, yeah, I'm just noticing that. Huh. This looks like it's definitely like colored pencil or something. I can see that. Whoa, that's cool. There's like 3 of these creatures. Curious if this is like FG1 or something. Huh. I have to come back and just like take notes on all this stuff. This one's really interesting. I love the avatar. That I want a picture of. Oh, cool. My hand can be in there. Hmm. Toast type. This is just gonna make me hungry. Okay, so that's the first room, and then let's see if we can fly through the second room. Oh, we have someone here. Let's turn this back on. Dahlia. Oh. Oh. Let me cheer them on. Now, the one thing that I haven't found in this, and it doesn't look like it's built in yet, I definitely could see them building this in, is like a friend system. I don't really see a way to. You can follow people who create worlds, but you can't, to my knowledge, yet like add friends on this. Which would be nice because if you could, then you could like send a file to a friend this way, and that would go a long way towards working within an environment collaboratively, I think. If you make it simple in that sense, the same way that Mozilla Hubs has, but you just add in that feature, uh, and you could just tie it in to some other existing like file transfer, uh, open source stuff or whatever, and I'm not sure what this is. Looks like it's a. Oh, okay. So it's like a breakdown of the user interface for a game, I think. Yep, called Whispers. Cool. See, I mean, this is completely different than anything else. This is creative nonetheless, though. Hmm. I feel like I saw this somewhere on my feed. Oh, that's wild. Okay. Whoa. This is like ET. Oh, that's such a cool avatar. Yeah, I would totally read this. I like that, the alien, the ET in this case is a gray alien. Like pencil drawings, maybe. I see like a cat in this second one. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at in this one. For me, this almost looks like if you not in a bad way, but like if you found like a wet piece of cardboard outside and it grew like that like black mold or something like that. And imagine that growing into some kind of a pattern that resembled something that what quite wasn't there. You're trying to make your brain's trying to find the faces and everything and the forms that it can in the negative space. Dream. Huh. Person looks like they're sunken into a ball pit full of stuffed animals. Their graphic designer, the K Museum 2020. Looks like it could make for a good stamp series. They're playing. Like they're in a school bathroom and they're putting on a performance. Magical mystery. I wish I could get a better look at this, but uh, there's not really a way to fly in this social world. But, no, that's fine. I have to check to see if there's like an online catalog of everyone who exhibited here because there's so many accounts that I definitely want to check out. Cool. I like the yellow. Whoa. What is this? Is this a goat or a rabbit? Wow, this piece got like a really big section on the wall. That's the other thing I wonder is for an exhibition like this, who, as far as the curator, um, whose choice is that, right? For how big work should be, is it the up to the artist to kind of specify whether they want their piece displayed really tiny, or is it the curator um, who finds space in the gallery to um, also be part of that process, right, in designing the experience? Um, yeah, I don't know. Questions that I have. Oh, these are cool. I don't know what it is or like what the size of this is, but it looks like it would be fun to hold. Something that's like smaller than a bowling ball, but bigger than a Quest controller. This is nice. This looks like to me, looks like if you did rubbings with like a wax crayon on different surfaces and then you like layered that on top of each other. I don't know. It's got a lot of texture. It's really nice. Oh. Huh. Reminds me of the treatment they did for that movie Suicide Squad. It's like if Suicide Squad and um what's that comic book series? Sandman like combined and this would be a character from Sandman. Whoa. There's some really cool shapes going on in the hair. These like webs on the inside of whatever this plant thing is. Trippy. Yeah, like so for some of these, like this lamp in particular, the way that the thing like sort of around it is there's like a highlight, like a lighter color around the lamp, and even to some degree around the person. That highlight for me when I like move over here with my avatar, it almost looks like the work has what do you call it? Like a depth, uh, like a JPEG with depth, like the ones that pop up on Facebook. I'm forgetting my terms here, but it looks like it's had that treatment, but it hasn't. It almost looks embossed, and I think that's just the way they painted it. But now I have been to a educational world in Engage, and maybe I'll do a video like a stream or something on that platform. By the way, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do maybe like a short video on each of these just for folks, obviously if you're using these platforms, this isn't really going to tell you something you don't already know, but for anyone who's just coming into it, um, it might be cool to have like a short video on each platform. And in this case, um, I don't know, maybe they have the capability to host that kind of file, but in Engage, they had those those JPEGs that had that depth um, applied to it, and it was cool to look at. But for me, moving left to right with one of those kind of images in front of me, it it didn't look, it kind of got really jagged on screen, and I don't know if there's a way to fix that. But it wasn't pleasant to go through because every time you're moving your head, you'd see a lot of this kind of like interference, this choppiness. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I prefer I'd prefer to just have the artwork flat if that's the case, until they figure out a way to fix that, obviously. But anyway, topic for another video. This one is cool. Just their use of shapes and transparency and like overlapping things. That looks like it could be the After Effects or Premiere timeline up there. Maybe this is like a motion graphics person. Okay, so I've done that. Let's go to the middle and wrap this up. So this again, it's gonna make me hungry. I already feel hungry. Seeing fantasy rainbow cakes. Yeah, it's making me hungrier. This is curious because oh, so again, this is another one where I want to know like who made the decision to present it this way, because it takes up the whole space and the placard they had to put up here on the wall, and they haven't done that for anyone else. Um, so was it the artist's decision to make this bigger, but then move the placard over, or the curator's decision? Um, yeah, something. Maybe I'll explore that. Maybe I'll try to get some answers, because this is something that anyone doing in a gallery would have to come across, right? So, Museum of Other Realities or some other kind of museum. Uh, yeah, I don't have the answer, but I want to know who ultimately makes those decisions. Is it a combination of both people, the curator and the artist, or um, what degree does that vary? Because in like the physical world, you'd have to, as the artist, you'd have to play a part in how your work is being set up, right? So, um, at least with well, actually no, yeah, with physical work or digital work, you're laying down the specifications. But in this case, where everything's been created, who gets to decide that? Um, this is cool. Looks like someone who makes ceramics or just materials in general. Soft materials. Okay, that's what that is. That's kind of cool. It's like one of those things you never thought you needed, but then you look at it and it looks kind of fun to have. Okay, here we have another, like a logo designer. Another illustrator. I like their use of um, their choice to kind of do the outlines in something other than black. So in this case, like blue, red outline, greenish yellow outline, green outline, kind of like a purple. Cool. Voyage. Huh. Reminds me of The Simpsons, the clouds. But I like it. This one, whoa. Some really cool underwater photography. Curious. So this one has nothing up here except for these two signs. Was the artwork removed or did it never make it in the first place? Or is that it? Is that the art piece? This is nice. Looks like something you'd find at IKEA in the children's section. Illustrator. Another person that does really nice overlapping of colors. Yeah, I like these designs. Whoa. It's a little creepy, but I like how they use the texture here to kind of create the shadow. All right, so we saw this, this one, another illustrator, cool style. Whoa, these are really chunky. I like it. Nice typography. This one. So looks like the theme here is these are all filled with water, so they're like see-through. This would be a cool idea if cans really could. I mean, I guess they would be made out of aluminum in that case, but see-through cans. But I guess maybe there's a point to having like if it was see-through, then maybe it wouldn't last as long. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, cool. I miss virtual pets. I feel like virtual pets now, if they made a resurgence, that would be it. Kids would be done for. They'd be, totally hooked on virtual pets. If it was like if you took one character from Animal Crossing or something, and then not just kids, it'd be everyone from Animal Crossing, and then put in a virtual pets, like it's in your pocket now kind of thing. These are cool. Okay, I think I saw everything. Yep, all that. Yep, all the cakes. Yeah, I think that was everything. Okay, so I'll just take a photo here. Okay, someone's coming. So I didn't see anyone with like a custom avatar while I was in here, but they, like I said, they do exist. Um, there are limitations to how many polys and like, um, you probably can't do a lot of fancy stuff you would in VR chat or Neos with your avatar in here. But I think I think over time, just like with hubs where there's kind of like the base avatar and then folks have made their own kind of spin-offs of what that could be, and then uh, I think it's going to be cool to see how these kind of low poly avatars evolve, where you'll have I guess you could call them like a template avatar, right? So what if you want like a rounder shape? What if you want um sorry for that. What if you want smaller hands or like a different style head? But then you create that avatar template, and now anyone can continue making their own copy of that, but like in their style. It's gonna be interesting to see um, which ones stay. So like in alt space, they took some of the ones that they had out of rotation. Um, yeah, even with these limited social platforms, I think the potential for diversity in that sense is still really um, possible and exciting, especially when you move past like the what do you call it? Like the humanoid or bipedal like avatar. Okay, I think that's good. Oh, I took these last night when I popped in, but yeah, I mean it's pretty expressive despite being basic, but I'm excited to see how that continues to change. All right, so I think I'm gonna cut it there. I'm getting hungry. But again, so that was Cluster, and yeah, I don't know. Check it out. It is mostly Japanese folks in here, so um, which I'm fine with because I can focus more on checking out the world and maybe building, and there's less trolling, I guess, in the sense that you'd have in VR chat or some other platforms. There's there's still it's still in those like early stages, so it's just kind of cool to explore. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Like I said, check out the Patreon if you want um, to support, and if you want access to the document I just posted today, as well as other ones I'll be posting, um, and any other type of content. I'm willing to create things if people do want to support. That'll just motivate me more to create and give back to the community. Um, so yeah, that's it. And thanks for watching.